Mr. Speaker, we are just on the verge of passing the Rugby World Cup bill on completion of third reading. This bill will provide temporary legislation which will enable the timely grant of consent and regulatory approval if required during the Rugby World Cup. Rugby World Cup Authority will be established which will have the power to grant approvals for activities and events related to Rugby World Cup. It will also establish Rugby World Cup liquor licensing scheme. Mr. Speaker, it is very important for New Zealand to host Rugby World Cup successfully as it is going to attract more than 80,000 rugby fans from overseas and who will see New Zealand as opportunity for investment in their businesses. Sir, this bill is a step forward towards hosting Rugby World Cup successfully. This tournament will be held for 6 weeks in different destinations across New Zealand, which will not only attract rugby fans from overseas but also encourage tens of thousands Kiwi rugby fans to travel around our country to review these matches. This will generate business not only in local economy, it will also include increased businesses for local hotels, motels, restaurants, bars and retail outlets. The success of this event will bring tourists to New Zealand in future and show a nation of 4 million people can host an event of this scale. Mr. Speaker, some of the speakers have highlighted the clause which suggests that Minister would override any decision by Rugby World Cup Authority. This is not correct. The Minister can make any urgent decision on urgent application under consultation with at least 2 other ministers and only during the period from 1st July 2011 to the conclusion of tournament. This provision will only be exercised in case of urgency. Mr. Speaker, the present regulatory approval process will be able to cater for extraordinary requirement due to the long time required for approval process. It is important to mention here that this bill will support existing regulatory requirements and will only provide a fast alternate to current process. The Rugby World Cup will not make it easier to obtain liquor license, but it will simply fast-track the process to grant a license. There will be an important provision in granting license, and this will ensure that food is served during the period of opening hours and free water is available to those guests.
Point of order, the Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Speaker, Dr. the Right Honourable Speaker Smith has made some comments about reading speeches in the House and proposals to change that. Sir, I know there's some debate about that, but Sir, when a speech is read for the second time in the House, as is occurring now, with a member rereading the third reading speech that has already been given by the Minister, sir, I think that goes beyond what is appropriate in Parliament.
Call the Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Well, Mr. Speaker, perhaps the person moving that point of order makes a good point. If we are to be hard on repetition, then I would hope we are hard on repetition through the considerable committee stages that we're going to deal with for the rest of this day.
Well, I look forward to the day that I have enlivened, uplifting, visionary speeches from every member of this House, but I'm afraid it's not going to happen overnight. The point that the member makes about reading a speech has been made in this House before. The House has changed the standing orders to enable people to read speeches. If the member doesn't like that, I suggest he takes the matter to the Standing Orders Committee and has that taken away. I invite Kamaljeet Bakshi to continue.
There's no right to reread.
Sir, all the process conferred upon the Rugby World Cup Authority and Minister will terminate at the end of the tournament. I wish good luck to the Rugby World Cup Authority and all Blacks. I hope they will win the tournament and make us proud. I would like to thank all officials assisting us during the Select Committee and process to bring this bill to the House. I commend Rugby World Cup 2011 Empowering Bill to the House.
Mr. Speaker.